All right, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Unlock Your Freedom podcast. Today, gonna chat with a really cool artist, Michaell Magrutsche. Michael, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi, hi, Kevin. Good to see you. I'm good. I'm. Uh, the world is a little crazy, but I think humans will do it. We will prevail. I hope so.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I'm gonna do a really quick, just heads up for everybody to
Mhm.
who you be, and then I'll let you go deeper on it. But Michael's a California multimedia artist, writer, advisor,
Mhm.
born in Vienna, Austria. And man, tell us a little bit more about you and how you like to create and serve the world.
Yeah, I was born in Vienna, Austria, and I was a sick child, and then I went to school with 7, so they helped me back for a year. And then I got my second slap in the face that I was dyslexic and dysgraphic. So I couldn't read, I couldn't understand, I couldn't comprehend, especially if it was about repetitive tasks. So a repetitive, like what if you learn and there's steps, I'm totally lost in that. I'm losing when it's about steps and what you have to do. So I teach whatever I teach or I contribute to the world is all awareness. It's not about there's a process. You have to build first. You have to do this, then this, and this. I explain my process. Like I explained to you with the colors. So when I see a powerful color, I try to capture that color on a computer or something, and then or mix it. In the old days, I mixed it and then put it on the canvas on the slate, and then allow that color to trigger another one, either a contrast color or something that is fits to that color. But usually it's a contrast because in contrast there's a lot of power. Um, and so then I went to school. I couldn't think. I was speaker of the class. I had to lean on humans and on that's why I'm good with humans. And I had to lean on art because obviously I wasn't conscious of that. I was very, when you live in it, you're not conscious. That's why you can't blame somebody that doesn't know. If you don't know, you don't know. And so I just, when I was 30, I figured out, damn, I look at my resumes and say, every resume was an artist. What was art related, from DJ to creating fashion show, to advertising, to electronic media, to all that stuff. And I said, man, I'm an artist. I don't need the system to tell me I'm an artist or deem me to be an artist. I'm an artist. That's what I am. And I really realized that about 30. And it's funny because when I now talk to a lot of artists that I established, and I know artists all around the world because, I love to be in the art community, to just converse. And it's not about the product they do, but their process. I'm all about the journey. I'm not about the result. The result is good. It's the icing on the cake. I talk to people that have Oscars and they have Grammys and they got all this stuff, and they said, what the system tells you that how great this is, it's nothing about the journey. And they said, oh, I wasted all my life. I have the great day of my Oscar or my Grammy, but I didn't live my life because my goal was, to get the Grammy, get the accolades, get the success, get the goal, and you're never in the moment. And I realized that. I mean, I realized it, and I had to be in the moment because for me it was survival, moment to moment to moment. And I found also that art, I was very upset because here art saves my life, humans save my life, right? And then 97% of artists don't have any on the poverty level worldwide. And I said, how can it be that everything, all these companies, Nike, Apple, all these super Google, all this stuff, why we created all this, and then the highest form of creation that isn't, neutered by a purpose, like create a new Google, create a new Apple, create a new Nike, or create a new cell phone. The highest form of art for art's sake, is actually completely ignored. And all the discrepancies I found, like what is the first thing in a war we destroy? Culture and art. What are we sacrificing? Artists, culture artists. Look at Ukraine and Russia right now. So I thought, God, there's something insane here going on. Everything is creative. The highest form of thing is art. The first thing we destroy in a war is cultural goods and art. And 97% of artists worldwide on a poverty level, exist on a poverty level. So what you hear from a system is, oh, this artist is great or whatever. I know them, these artists, and they're not great. They're all afraid because it's a consciousness, and the starving artist is over generation got conditioned. Humanity got conditioned. Artists are poor, and artists get their money when they're dead. So, but artists get their money when they're dead because it's a commodity. Their output, their product, become a commodity, and what that led me to, art is a business.
Well, I love that you were just talking about, creating and creativity, because like without creation, like, well, what's new? What's being brought into the world? And I spend a lot of time, I work with lots of different business leaders and entrepreneurs and like all different spaces. And it's like at all moments, I feel like we only have two options. We're either, reacting to something that's been created, or we're creating ourselves, and maybe even reacting to a reaction, quite often. And so you talked about awareness, and I think that's obviously a really powerful word, and being present. So, if somebody's looking to raise their awareness of, their own innate creativity, how do you help them understand, maybe what that even means and how to even take action towards that?
I think creating any creation, if you create a podcast or a multinational company or art, every creation reveals something about you. But obviously, art in a stronger way than if you create Google, because Google is you have to handle other people. You have to handle multiple systems, which actually drag you away from it. So the creation itself, like music, poetry, or art, always brings you to humanity, to your human being. And if you want to be self-aware, you don't need coaches. If you want to be self-aware, create art, because in the creation, it reveals so much that, and I'll give you an example. So you have a podcast, right? I can say in the system, you can do a broadcast, but you did. It's you did that podcast. I cannot say, oh, Kevin, you never did a podcast. You have no idea about podcasts. If the system deems it as good or bad, it doesn't matter. But I'm saying, if the fact that you created a podcast, the fact that you put on your shoes, I cannot say you can't put on your shoes. You have shoes every day. It's not a discussion. It's not a discussion that you're a man, and I say, oh, you're not a man. I'm sorry, you're not. I don't see you as man. So what reveals of creation is a self-awareness of any creation. If you write a letter. But we are not looking at the creation. We're looking at the product. And that's where the discrepancy comes. And that's why I come to systems. That's how I came to the book that I'm writing now, Creativity and Systems. We look at the product because all systems are based on static financial principles. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we are not aware of it. So what happens is that static system is working with us against us, who are natural, who need sleep. We need sleep. A machine, the economy, 24/7 till we turn it off. It will run 24/7, but we have to sleep to get the maximum out of the human potential. See, it's about the human potential. It's not about making system more effective. Yeah, we can make those effective, but it's about the human potential. And then have the system, what they initially were here to do, to make us feel safe. That systems serve humanity. They make us safe, They give us expansion. So when you feed a child, a tribe, right? You feed the child, you give it to another tribes member that take care of your child, and you can go in the woods and pick thing or do some wood shedding or whatever. So it expands our human experience. And it doesn't usually, because we dive into a system and stay there till we die. And then we get out. So systems have been distorted by our unawareness of the static based on financial principle, and that we need to recover to get the maximum potential out of it. And so potential isn't even a talk about it. I give you an example. What happened? We try to save the world, right? We started to save the nature. Everybody's talking about nature. We're so detached from our value that we see nature as a system that we have to save. We cannot say, you know what, because in Chernobyl, for example, nature just grows over it. It just grows over it. I mean, there's civilization that extinguished, and the nature just went over in the Amazon. Nature doesn't need us. That doesn't say, oh, exploit nature. What I'm saying is humans are not aware that we are part of nature, and we need nature to survive, that our kids survive, that our next generation survive. So we put ourselves on the ego above nature and said, oh, we are horrible, we destroyed it, we need to save it. But in none of that dialogue, and that's system narrative, and that story, humans don't appear. It's about humans being bad, destroying nature. Now humans need to be good and save nature. It's not about the nature, it's about yourself. We cannot exist without nature. Humanity cannot exist without nature. No science would have ever been created by not copying nature. So all the science that we say, oh, we don't need nature or whatever, it was created from patterning that comes from nature, from chemical reactions, from recreating a natural environment in the lab. So humans are totally dependent on nature and not seeing it. And we say, no, we need to save nature. And then actually we can get out and say, oh, the next generation can save nature. I hope I got that to you, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. And I'd love if you could, with regards to nature, just talk about, I don't know if this is the right word, but, like, where's the balance? Like, what does better look like?
Awesome question, Kevin. Awesome question, because it's all about balance. The power is not power over, power thing. We are also, here we ignore it. We know we are herd animal, right? From the scientific observation, it's proven we are herd animal. But the systems don't want the herd. The system, and the wacky thing is, we can only get balance because we are aware. Because when we are not aware, that we say we blame the system, right? We blame the IRS, we blame they did this to me, the politician, the party did this, whatever. On the other side of systems are also people, humans, that need to feed their children. It is basically we're blinded. You asked me about balance. The disbalance is the blinding from all humans that look through humanity through a system. We don't exist as humans. We exist in we experience our humanity through systems. And if you can separate that and say, okay, this is system now. I'm freaking out because I can't pay my bills, right? That's a system issue. That is, you're defaulting you're human in the system, but your value, your worth, no matter what. In nature, the ant and the elephant, I always say that example, and I repeat myself always, the ant and the elephant have no value difference. They are valuable because they exist and have a task, an ability, a task they contribute. And it's unconscious, obviously, because, we know they're not conscious about that, they're not self-aware. But humans have the power of being self-aware. And that's why I think we have the power and we're not using it.
So at awareness, like if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, Michael, I want to be more aware," but most people who are unaware probably don't pose that question. But if they happen to, they want to wake up, so to speak.
I say listen to this podcast a couple times at least. That's number one, so that you that you sense it. So that's why my podcast is only 20 seconds, because it's only a quote. I believe in the human fabric that we all contribute to a truth or to a wisdom, right? To get more of that wisdom, I'm just planting seeds everywhere. And that's why I think awareness is so powerful. It's like when you see, you can't unsee it. Whatever you have seen, you cannot be unconscious once you're conscious that what being in love is. For example, this is a great example. You can read all libraries about love, right? And then if you have never been in love, you can't talk about it. Yeah. If you never had a sexual urge, you never can talk about it. So it's an experiential knowledge, and that's what makes you what makes you aware, and then you live a more humane life, which is a better life with less sacrifice, with less submitting. You just focus on what is your worth, what is my ability, which I had to do. By the way, I wasn't the smarty ass that figured that out. I was the person that couldn't do in systems. I couldn't handle the system. So, and the system couldn't do anything with me. So according to the system, I'm very low on the totem pole of value, because I'm not a system navigator. I can't. But through that, it forced me to be self-aware, and also self-acceptance, because what happens in the dynamic of system is so interesting, because today, okay, we have this is going out, electricity goes out. We need to do a new system to get more electricity, more other cars. We create always from one initial problem, with the same ingredients, we create solutions. And that's why we only push the inevitable breakdown just further. We just, because we're not thinking outside of the box. I was forced to think out that. So I'm thankful to systems, because I was forced to think. It took me a long time, over 50 years. But where I shamed myself, because I said, hey, I have that DNA drive that wants me to belong, be a herd animal. And then, but in the herd, I have no value in the herd. The herd is the system, right? So it's our projection of what the thing. But I didn't see that correctly, because it's the herd is humans. Yeah, the herd is every human that you come in contact with, and it's not the system. The system is secondary. It's something that has to support us, and if it doesn't, you stay away.
Yeah, I think that's really powerful. It's like, I mean, who hasn't felt like they don't fit in at some point?
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's so frustrating when you feel like there's something like fundamentally wrong with you. And, comparison is, one of the things that gets a lot of people sideways. And, comparing yourself to other people is really dangerous, because you usually get inferior or superior as the result, right?
Yep.
Which is totally disconnect. But even comparing yourself to the system you're supposed to fit into, and then it's like, maybe there's something wrong with me. Why don't I fit into this thing they made one way? There's one way to win here. And I remember talking about something like that once with a friend of mine named Jim, and he's like, yeah, well, there's some sort of a mix-up, man. None of us are supposed to be here. We're all a mistake. And that's how it felt for a long time.
That's mass shaming. That's like saying, and just observe. That's why I think our relationship to systems has to change. Not that we rebel. That is the same thing, would be the same thing. We created a tribe to help each other out. So we have to create systems that are human adaptive and not human system adaptive. So we have to look at systems and say, are they really still worth the life force that we give them? Are we? Is it still? If you have a garden and you and I started a garden, we have no problem. We don't need a schedule. We need nothing. We just say, hey, I'm doing a weekend, and if you call me, if you say, hey, I can't do on the weekend, can I use yours? And the garden is managed. But if all our families come, we have to schedule that, and then the effort to run the maintenance of that system becomes more than the joy that we can get out of it. And there's a balance too for you. There's a balance too to see, hey, is it worth it to be? And that's why so many people, the young kids, they feel that truth, and they don't want to. They say, I don't want to go to university. I don't want to. I mean, look what it did to you. I mean, they say to the parents, look what we did. I mean, that I end up working till I'm 65 or 70, and then I'm sick because I used all my life force to adapt to systems. That's stress. Stress is the static versus how many humans do you know? I said, I don't need a lot of sleep. That's insane. That is a completely against your nature. And so and that's why I say I'm not afraid that robots take over. I'm afraid that human turn into robots, because we have the third superpower, which is adaptability. We can adapt ourselves to, otherwise we couldn't survive a concentration camp. But so we can adapt tremendously, but we are not aware of that. We are not aware of that this is a superpower that we just waste on being system adaptive, so that systems can get bigger and more and longer.
So adaptability is the third superpower. Creativity.
Second is discourse, healthy discourse. When you and I talk, it's proven that both our brains are changing and not going back. So we evolve when you and I talk. It doesn't matter as long as it's healthy. It's not about system, who is better, who is stronger, who has more to say. It's just a conversation of humanity. That is the second super. And the first is creativity, because everything on this planet we created. Everything. I mean, except nature, but all the systems, all the companies, all housing and everything, all technology we created, all systems we created. But in that creation, we got so enamored with the shiny thing, the shiny object syndrome. You're right. We're so enamored with a Lambo that we don't, or with a high rise, that we have forgotten ourselves, and that's why we want to save nature. God, I mean, I'm not a humanist and whatever. I don't call myself. There's a system definition, but I'm saying I got a support of what I am in nature, right? I'm a part of nature. Why not supporting that, or give that at least a thought about what is my being? Not who am I, my essence, my contribution. Just understand humanity. What is humans? How do we interact? What happens? Where we are distorted? What do you think in Ukraine? Do you think that is all the Ukrainian or the Russians are all screwed up? No, this is one person that is, or two people, extremely disturbed, by systems, and they hide behind systems. And humans only submit and allow that 80,000 soldiers die in the first 4 months because we are unaware that we are more valuable than any system, any state. One human is more valuable than any system, because system is human created. Something bigger than humans created humans, right? And this is not religious, this is not spiritual. So why would we submit to something we created? It's like God says, okay, I'm coming on if there was a God or Moses or whatever, they come on the earth. It's like, okay, let's see how this is here. You humans do whatever you want to do to me. It's crazy. Or talking to a doll that you created, and say, oh, shall I marry that girl or the guy or not? I mean, it's impossible, right? It's so funny when you think about it, but this is what we do. We literally submit that we shoot at somebody else, kill somebody else in the name of system. If you kill me, you go into jail. But a system can allow that. Do you see how much we gave up? A system, when a system deems the drug is okay, then it's okay. And we are saying, don't blame the system. Be aware that humans, when you get humans against humans, we kill each other because we are limitless. You are creative. I come with another creativity. Then you come with another creativity. Then I come. Then I take some guys. Then you bring some guys. It's one for one. And we need to let that go. We need to go back and say, okay, what are we using? Is it helping? Okay, is it costing life force? Boom, and change it. It's not a lot to do. It's just awareness. Once you're aware, there's no money involved in this. There is just awareness. That's the human limitlessness that basically I demonstrate because I could never fit in. You know, I am my own limitlessness that I express in my contribution that I can do. And if we are conscious, we must change. Kevin, we must change. If I say you have $1 million, I have $1 million for you. You have to make a decision, and then you change already. You can say, I don't take it. That's a decision. I'm taking it, or what I'm going to do with that $1 million. And the same as if I say you have a disease. You gotta do something about it, and the way you cannot make yourself. That's why awareness is such a superpower. It's the human awareness, not the system knowledge. See, it's another thing. You know, system knowledge is valuable because if you know something that in the future helps you get money or know a situation, a stock market, for example, that's valuable. But wisdom, everybody has to plug in. Everybody has to plug in into wisdom. You just have to be aware, I'm going to put all my attention into thought patterns, or I put all my attention into this system, and I'm forgetting myself. You don't help anybody if you say, I need to save nature. You need to say, why do I want to save the nature? Because I'm part of it. So it's very simple. But we are so, obviously nobody talks about this, or very few people. So obviously what I say has merit. We are unaware. We are unaware, and you can't blame somebody that's unaware. That's why I have no anger against human, or I say, we gotta get against this. We are unaware. We are unaware, and the superpower is art that brings you that consciousness, because everything I know, I learned from observing my creation of art. Because it's what it is a conversation between the non-physical and the physical. And the art, the product, the music, the statue, the painting is a symptom, a product of that conversation from the non-physical and the physical. That's why art is so powerful. It's a conversation from just out of, not for a purpose. Not, I want to get you a new iPhone. No. It's just art. I have a conversation with the unconscious. And the product is the product of that conversation, the physical manifestation of that conversation. I've never heard anybody explain it like that. And how long do we have art? And that's why I'm saying my dyslexia is kind of a superpower too. So what is in the system a bad thing, and Richard Branson is Tom Cruise. There's a lot of dyslexia, neurodiverse people. So I think that everybody has a place, which I demonstrate. Everybody has something to contribute.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely. There was so much in there. And I think I loved one thing you said towards the end there about unawareness. And, when people are unaware, we don't get mad and punish their unawareness, because that's just unawareness inside of us, really. And we're just, creating more of the thing we think we're working to eliminate.
Yeah.
And obviously we want to be part of the solution. So yeah, that's super powerful. What about when it comes to creativity, It's like it's like even just working out. It's like, oh, I didn't feel like it. I'm like, man, it's not like a feeling, right? Creativity is more of an action, because if I'm not doing anything, I don't feel like I'm like what am I actually creating? And so I don't know if that makes sense, but I'd be curious what your thoughts are on, is creativity a feeling? Is
You
it an
think,
action or?
let me ask it. Let me clarify the question. So you say if you want to work out, what has that to work out? The thing, I can't get the context of that. The working out and the.
So it doesn't have to be working out. Just like anything. Like, why didn't you, work on your business today? Oh, I didn't feel like it. Like, okay, cool.
Then don't
Like,
do it. Then don't do
yeah.
it. Don't do it. Because art, this is what I'll teach you. That's perfect. It's a great question. Art, for example, does not ask you to create a painting in today. And I did one of my books is 300 paintings in 3 days. So I did that. So art doesn't say any art. The only thing art asks, the energy of art, the vibration of art is create and expose. It doesn't say how many likes you should have, how much money you should get, nothing. And that's why it's so pure. It's just be here. It's the being. The being is manifest in a physical ability of art. It's saying art, you want to plug into the vibration of art. You just feel it and you create what comes in and you expose it to your family, to your kid, to your wife. That's it. That's all. And then we have the creation of art is completed. So when you say, I need to create a business, but you want to get outside and just sit in nature, humanely, that would be the right thing. Because everything that distorts you, that you mentioned, like doing the business and time, is both system. That's why we need to separate what am I driven right now and takes my life energy. See, I look forward to those podcasts because I never say the same thing. I say a lot of things the same, but I not say the same because it's like a new canvas. I'm painting a new. You give me the canvas, right? You give me the blank slate, or you give me the colors, and I finish the painting. And in that is so you feel it. I see your face. You feel that is this, and this experiential awareness. That's what it's all about. And when you start observing instead of judging and trying to be safe, this is what you get. And that's what you learn through creating art. That's what you learn. You watch it. You don't worry about what your friends say about it. How many listeners this song gets. That will come when you really milk and enjoy the process. That's why I'm saying to all my podcast guests, I don't have guests, but when I'm guest on other podcasts, I say, I don't care how much we do and how much it is what it is. And you and I will do the best conversation, interaction to show that superpower of dialogue. We will create the best interaction that we can in this moment. None of us is thinking about my wife, how to pay my bills, or what I need to do for my kids. You are right now in the moment. And that's why you feel good when you create. You feel so good. People, and they have the highest form of neurodiversity and ADHD, the highest percentage is in art, because that helps them survive as humans. Because it helped me. Art has absolutely helped me survive. And what's good is that even systems see it now, like Alzheimer's Association sees that art therapy is like taking a pill. So they can write you a prescription for art therapy. So we pivot from the art product to the art creation. That the journey is the valuable things for human. And we see that, and I think the whole world figures that out. People don't want to just consume. That's why you have all this stuff that consume. The time is spent somewhere else. The system says, "Oh, we need to get better Netflix or better this." No, the people, the consciousness everybody gets conscious, is seeing that there's less and less value just consuming. The product is beautiful. Art is beautiful because it also connects you with that conversation that we all have. It shows you one, that art product, a film, a poem, a music, a painting, all, why are you going in a museum? Why? Because you resonate with our inclusiveness. Yeah, that we are tribe. And that's why I always say this example, because it's so powerful. When you go to any art opening, there's every political domination, religious, sex, gender, rich, poor, everybody is there. Everybody talks about to each other, interacts. And it's the funny thing is the least people look at art. It's just the energy of art that creates that space, that canvas where all humans can join. And that's why I say it's the absolute superpower, creating art, not the art product. The art product is good, still good, but is minute to the creation, to understanding the creation of art. And I separated that. I was the one that said we need to look at the value not in the product. We need to look at the value. We need to start looking in the creation, in all of creation, because everything is creation. And yeah, I mean, and that's only because it came from adversity. It came from that. I can't believe 97% of artists don't think and don't have any, on the poverty line. And I found also that over generation about humanity, I found all these things about humanity through art. So we have never defined ourselves, right? Artists have never defined ourselves. So when you go to I always say the same example because I want them to become a metaphor. When you go to a plumber, you say, why am I paying you $5,000? The plumber says, I'm going to do the piping. I get you a new shower. My labor is this and this. You don't even argue. You say, can I make it cheaper? But that's it. When you go to an artist, say, why am I paying you $5,000 for this painting or music or poet? He said, oh, because I got an award. Or my last painting sold $5,000. Yeah, all these non sequiturs that absolutely have nothing to do. Because no artist can explain the power in art, which I just explained to you a lot. I mean, not everything, but I explained to you a lot why art is so valuable. And that what happened because in the old, how did art start? Because art is a systems thing, right? How did art start? It started because the king said, oh, Mozart, come here, live in my house. I feed you, and then at night you play for me. Hey, Michelangelo, we have a church to fix. So the system as well as the artist never defined the value of art. So the system just pays what it pays. That's why 97% are poor, because system work on the financial, artists work on the human level. They enjoy creating, they get that, they feel it, but they're not aware of it. Again, we're not aware of it. They say, I need to do art. I think I can't do anything else art. Yeah, because the art is the only thing that brings you into humanity. It's the only thing that brings you into strengths, into being you. And the system doesn't know. The system says, hey, whatever I can get cheap, I get cheap. And, and if I get Michael Jackson for half the price, I will jump on it, whatever his system price is,
Yeah. Oh, man. So much in there. That's wild. But let's do this. Let's go into a little bonus round here.
You can do this anytime, Kevin. If you have, we can do another one where you have all the questions. I just answer questions.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating. I love. I mean, like so many times we've all heard, right? Like it's about the journey, right? But like I don't think that really speaks to a lot of people because it's said so much, and it's not like what journey, But I love the way that you're just talking about creation and. Like you said it. It's like everything was created, right? And if I'm just like reacting to these other creations, then I'm not connected to like the infinite parts of me, the really cool parts. And like that's the whole reason we came here is to express in a way that only we can and to, just collectively co-elevate together. And we give all that away by getting married to a system or whatever. So, and like I'm preaching to the choir here, just like I need to hear this too. And it's like we make these.
I need to hear myself too. That's it. I need to hear myself
Yeah.
saying it because it's so strong. The vibration of systems is so strong. I need to hear myself, and it's funny when I radiate. I see you as my mirror, right? And you see me as I'm a part of you. Are part of me. I'm a part of you. I'm not saying, oh, there's that screwy Kevin in Dallas. Screw him. I'm gonna just get that thing over with. So I have done my system duty, and then I'm out. I'm milking this moment, and that's why I want humans to milk the moment. You don't have to hug everybody and kiss them, but just
Yeah.
but just see, the and this is really interesting. You love this. I say, the people, but they all want to have influence and influences and all that, which is just system. Yeah. But in the system, the homeless person on Fifth Avenue has more impact than you and I. There's millions of people walking by him. Humanity, their system value 0. It's annoyance and needs to get rid of. But having him there is, or in San Francisco, because they deny it. In some, it's better on other, and then you can look at it on a human perspective. Yeah, that one homeless person or couple, they have you either think about it. They have you either go on the other side of the street. They have you get money to them and say, I need to help this person. So they engage almost everybody that goes by, even if you don't want to look at him. You have to look at him because he's totally at this. So like you have to listen to what I have to say because I'm so different. I have such a different perspective, but it's anchored in humanity, like the homeless person is anchored in humanity because he reflects our homelessness, because our home would be the system. Our home would be, and that's why we drive to go to the system. Our home would be every human being that we see, because that's the tribe, right? But we don't, we think about, we need to judge, we need to classify, we need to order him in, you need to stereotype him. And that separates.
Yeah, well, that's like the most interesting thing in the world is to see a human being human and to connect.
Exactly.
There's only one of those that's ever been created, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah, one of those. You said it. One of one. Everybody you engage with as a human being is one of one. And look how we do it, like a product. We go, we look at everything like a product. Oh, is he interesting for my system value? Oh, screw him.
Yeah. Well, that's like, I think Seth Godin said, it's like something to the effect of, you'll never be creative making copies. And people get sideways because they can't be a copy of the thing they look up to. And like, I used to do that in the past. It was like, I'm not just like, my brother and I are like great friends and one of my heroes, but he's completely different than me in his approach and a lot of things. And he's very successful and he's a great guy, but we just operate differently to, create a lot of the same, from the same values.
He's probably a better system navigator. See, if you're a better system navigator, and that's not a bad thing. We need system navigators, right? But what I'm saying is not only system navigators have human value. See, and I wrote a long thing on LinkedIn. We can add that to your episode if you want, a link about value, human value, where I thought, my God, it makes no sense. It just doesn't matter. It was system value. It's first about human value. And then you can say, okay, I get rich in the system. I use the system to get rich. That's okay. But not saying you are worthless because you have no system value, would be me, right? Or very little system value. And this person is better than you because he has system value. But do you see in all of that with saving nature, everything I say right now, I become conscious as we talk about. We deny humanity. We deny the essential thing we are. We are human beings, not human doings. And the beingness, we are human from that race. We're not zebras. We are humans. And it in the name, it says being. Be human and observe. Learn, observe. You know, amazing, Kevin. I
Yeah.
mean, that
And
becomes all
we can
up.
only be human in this moment, right? Like I'm not being
Exactly.
human, living in the past, or creating all this anxiety around the future.
How much of your life have you wasted, like me, 50 years or something? I'm going to be this. I'm going to be that. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to try this to get that. But the system says I need to do this. Look at what they do now with social media. People sacrifice themselves to have super social media thing and having not the idea that they actually want to DNA connect to the tribe. And they give up their whole life force just to connect. But the system only selectively lets you connect. It doesn't let you let everybody connect. If you are a rebel and you want to be against things, they shut you off. They give you the AI is going to cut you down. Your impact is going to be nothing. It's system directed, and it's so limited too. Because how can we expand? I'd rather know you're a Nazi than, and you're not. I'm make that clear.
Yeah,
But I'd rather know somebody's a Nazi, okay, than hiding and then going in the goose step down in the basement, walking every night with Heil Führer and the thing. You know what I mean? I'd rather know you're a witch, or you think you're a witch, whatever, than you're doing all the things and then you have to do really wicked things to see your impact. Yeah. Let a witch be a witch. Let a Nazi be a Nazi. No, harm to none, like art teaches you. You can be whatever you are, but with harm to none. Yeah. So art, that's why art has that essential energy still. I hope it's not going to change it, that it is unveiling, is questioning, is whatever, but it's all harm to none. So that's why a system cannot say, oh, you do harm, like a political correctness. That's why I'm so against that, because you need first, the system separated us in gender, race, sexuality now. And now it's, oh my God, this goes all awry. We have, I think, 60 million men too many in China because we decided that male is better than female. So the system made that whole thing, yeah? It's the separation. And now it wants to get another system, which is also based on financial thing, to make it right. So the system we created, that's why we are so limitless. This is not a critique. I wanted to get you to see how limitless we are. We creating on the other side a system, we cannot survive human against human. We cannot survive this. We will extinguish ourselves if we are human against human. We need to be human first and saving nature because we are part of it, not because we need to save it. We need to save and work with nature, interact with nature like we're supposed to be because we're part of it. And then have system to allow us to even amplify us to lift our human potential. Because I am human potential. I'm living human potential. I show you, you can perceive it from a complete different side life, and it still makes sense. It's the perception. And that's about awareness. Because I saw a minimal statue from Ellsworth Kelly, and this is what I tell you how it taught me that. Ellsworth Kelly is a minimal artist. He died, but he made this shape, and I look at this shape, and it's like a half circle, not very simple, minimal, and he cut that one side of the circle, half circle, a little shorter. That effect, that little less of half that imbalance, it was so simple and so powerful, and this is lighting me up. My whole synapses lights up and everything. I look at this and say, yeah, it's so, we just don't see it. It's like somebody comes out with a new product, right? Why didn't I think about that? because we are so distracted that we can't find things like that.
Yeah.
We're so distracted, and the system distraction. That's why I think I always go back to the system. I think we need to be aware of humans, nature, and system, and a tool to get to that, to be aware of that is creating art.
Wow, so powerful. Well, in an effort to bring this thing in for a landing, because I'm sure you've got things to create.
No, we did enough. We pack enough in this episode.
Oh my gosh, it was awesome. I love this talk. So I have two last questions for you. What does freedom mean to you first?
Super question. And I don't have an answer right away. Let me see. Oh, freedom is awareness. The moment you are aware, and thank you so much for the answer, because I wouldn't have thought about it. If you're aware, I know this is going to all percolate in you, and you will say, oh my God, this completely changed my, and don't be feeling small, because I pulled it from everywhere. So I pulled it for 60 years out of everywhere. So because I couldn't function in the system. I couldn't not focus on my humanness, because I was, because of my what I have. And so I was forced to do this. So I was forced, and which shows you the limit. It squeezed the limitlessness out of me to experience it, because saying limitless and experiencing is a difference. Yeah. But I try to give you, in all my conversations, I try to give the people that what I say I live, and have you experience the same thing. And that's also our discourse. That's why discourse is so important.
Yeah, phenomenal. Okay, last question. Where can people go to learn more about you, Michaell?
MichaellM.com. That's it. Michaell with 2 L's. MichaellM.com. And there's everything. You can contact me, you can hire me, you can donate, you can whatever, you can everything. And I believe in humanity. I'm so, and the more I do this and have conversations like with you, and you get the feeling too, there's hope that is inert. That is inert hope that is saying, oh, what are you doing? It's just a rethinking. It's not, no steps, no app buying, no technology, nothing buying. It's just awareness. And of course, that has no system value. That awareness has no system value. Knowledge has. If I know something that will happen in the future, but awareness. So that's why we need to take the power away from not taking about systems. Systems are good, but it is our relationship with systems need to change, and the priority need to be straightened out. It's all about humans, and we need the nature to survive. Not just, oh, we need to save nature. No, we're humans, and we need natures to survive. That's it.
Beautiful. Well, thanks, Michaell. I really appreciate you sharing your genius with us and creating this with me. It was super enlightening. Oh my gosh, definitely raised the awareness for me. So I'm really grateful for you and all the folks that joined us. So hopefully you guys found some value too today. And please, if you did, share it out. Connect with Michaell. He's got a really great website and some really fantastic pieces in his gallery on his site. Like, man, just the colors alone, like thinking about it right now, it was powerful stuff. So I'm grateful that we had this discourse. So thanks for being here, Michaell. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Kevin. And your sensitivity is a superpower. Never forget that.
Oh, so good, man. Well said. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see y'all next time on Unlucky for